inside the dome. Sit back and enjoy two of the ACC's strongest go toe-to-toe in the conference's first clash of the season. It's number 6 Syracuse and number 4 Duke. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on your Wednesday evening with Luke Burgess. I'm Jack Gordon. Now, Luke, this season, when you only play 4 ACC games, the ACC tournament's back this year, it's so important every single time you go against a conference foe.
Yeah, and you got to start fast. Tonight's the first one, Jack, so make sure that you get off on the right foot and keep the morale high.
Now, this Duke team has one of the best offenses in the nation. It's transformed a little bit from last year. Not to face-off X to start things off. We got two of the nation's best, Luke. It's Mason Cone for Syracuse, Jake Naso for Duke. 913 face-off wins, the most of any active player. He's been going at it for 4 years here at Duke against someone in Mason Cone who's in his first year at the D1 level.
Yeah, it's a very different type of experience level. Last year, Mason Cone was playing D3 lacrosse, playing some hockey on the side as well, and now he's at the big stage.
A whistle on the first face-off. It's against Cone. Jake Naso wins it for Duke. Now, Naso had lost every first face-off of the season except for one game against Penn this year. He won the first face-off. That's the only time he did so. That's the only game Duke has lost. So a violation on Cone. Duke starts on offense. The most prolific unit in the nation. 18 goals per game. There's Ben Johnston, the freshman, in front to Williams. Knocked away by Will Mark. Shot clock at 60 seconds. It went off the goalie mark, and Duke stays with it.
Mark does a good job of getting down, making a quick reactionary save in the opening minutes. That can be a momentum killer if you have someone bite you early on.
There's McAdory giving off to the true freshman. Redshirt freshman Sloat gives off to Johnston. Right alley shot and a save by Will Mark. The nation's all-time active leader in saves with over 800, getting his second of the day.
Well, Jack, I know we talked about confidence coming into this one. I don't think there's anything that makes a team more confident than their goalie making some big plays early on. It really juices the guys up, gets the sideline involved, and I think everyone is immediately excited to play in this game when you know the guy in the back is going to make some big plays.
First midline out for Syracuse. Finn Thompson, Michael Leo, Sammy English. That's the star sophomore. The nation's leader in points, Joey Spolino, with it. Works around to Leo. Leo fires. It's deflected. Ball on the ground. And here comes Duke. Tyler Carpenter in transition. One of the nation's best LSMs. This Duke offense been prolific all season, Luke. They just seemingly do everything right.
Yeah, and it's because they have so much depth, Jack. They have guys off the bench who can score with what with a lot of teams would be some of their best attackers. So that's just a credit to the program's history. It's a credit to what Danowski's done so well, establishing a dominant program over the years here. And it's something that now people are used to seeing year in and year out for Duke.
Well, off the bench is the second midline. Aiden Denenza along with Charles Balsamo, and in comes Jack Papendick as well. Papendick, a sophomore, had a goal and an assist last time out. He's got the true freshman Wyatt Hoddle on him. Behind the cave, Zawada, the ex-attackman on this Duke team. Covered by Figueres. Not an inch of space. Here's Williams. The attackman can't get it to go. Will Mark's there. Syracuse gets it over successfully. And in come their second midfielders.
Duke's got a prolific attack to start this one so far, Jack. They're really buzzing, moving quickly, drawing that short stick midi out towards the middle of the field near the restraining line and creating some problems defensively for the Orange.
There's Hiltz pass over the middle. The shot by Stevens sails over the top. Muley was closest to it behind the net, stays with the Cuse. So you're right, Luke. Duke has put on a lot of pressure. 3 shots on goal already. 0 for Syracuse. Well, there's the first. That one picked up by the true freshman goalie, Patrick Jamison. Jamison's been very solid at the start of this season. 62% on saves. Third in the nation. Third in goals allowed as well, with only 8.
That's a pretty crazy change as well. You have an experienced guy like Will Helm, and then all of a sudden, new season rolls around, you've got a true freshman in net. It's not something you see too often with a program like this.
Here's Johnson over the middle. He scores. Duke's first goal comes from the true freshman, former top 5 recruit in the nation, letting his name be heard inside the dome.
You watch Johnson here on the outside, does a great job of using his speed, but what might not be evident from watching that, because there's a lot of big guys out there. Johnson is a big guy, 220, 6'1" out there. He blows by his defender, uses his speed to get to the inside, fires a hard shot, and I think it was almost expected with the way that this game has started. Duke's been putting on a whole ton of pressure on Will Mark, as we talked about.
The top midfielder in his freshman class, Johnson from Avon Old Farms, that's where he played his prep lacrosse. Here go Naso and Cone once again. Carpenter comes up with the ground ball. Right there when you need him most, the 2-time captain. Now, if Duke is winning faceoffs, just like they did last year, where Jake Naso won almost 20, they'll be dangerous. Whole offense is dangerous. Dyson Williams shot over the top. Zawada there for the backup.
Well, the Blue Devils are putting the Orange in panic mode a little bit right now on defense. You see a bunch of open space on the near side, and all of a sudden,
whistle on the field looked like that was a moving screen, and Syracuse takes over.
We've got guys backtracking on their back foot, and you're forced to make a play kind of under a little bit of pressure, not comfortable like you're used to playing.
First midline back out there, Leo English Thompson. Finn Thompson with the ball. Tied the game to go to overtime in last year's bout. Last time Duke was in the Dome, a 14-13 win. Charles Balsamo had the game winner. That's a turnover. Muley gives it up.
Boyer does a great job there, just using his physicality. This game is really physical so far, Jack.
Aiden McGuire soaks that check, gets past half field. One of the nation's best short stick D middies as only a sophomore. Really a strong group on this Duke team. There's Aiden Denenza with the ball, the second line midfielder who started all of last season, bumped to the second line this year. Coach Stanowski just said it was the right fit to have the experience on the second line. Him and Balsamo got a lot of playing time last year. Jack Papendick a little bit. And when you go to that second line, you're really not losing anything on this team.
No, you're not. That's one of the features that makes them so dynamic, is that you have experience on the second line. And Coach Stanowski spoke about it when we talked with him yesterday. He said, you know, it's really just a chemistry thing. We like guys to have some chemistry with the guys they're playing with.
Denenza's shot wide right. And that one was deflected off of Dyson Williams out of bounds. It's Syracuse ball. Good crowd on hand today to see a top 10 clash. The ACC's first game of the season. This one's important just to set the tone for the conference.
Yeah, we talked about it in open. It's big to really get the morale of your guys high early on, because these games are so few and far between. It's almost like playoffs start on day one, Jack. You got to set the tone early, win some games, because if you get down, you still have a chance to make it, because 4 of the 5 teams do get in. But it can be tough to kind of mentally drag yourself out of that hole after you get a little bit down on yourself, and it's hard to believe and win those games when May rolls around.
Here's Luke Roa. Second line midi had a hat trick to end last season. There was a loss in Koskinen Stadium against Duke and Durham. Hits his shot, stopped by Jamison. A good start for the true freshman. He's already got 2 saves.
Jamison's got great reaction speed.
Now, a lot of people say coming into the Dome to play goalie is quite a challenge as Duke turns it over. People say it's a challenge not only because of the crowd and the pressure, but when you're looking at the silver seats across the field can kind of blend with the white ball.
You've also got those lights up there. I mean, even for us here in the broadcast booth, they're a little bit blending at times. You're looking to throw a pass down deep across the field. It can really distract you a little bit.
A unique venue that's seen Syracuse have plenty of success. Here's Spallina, his shot knocked away again. Can they pick up the rebound? There's Muley, pass in front. Spallina gets pushed in the back by Jake Caputo, and a flag flies onto the field.
Yeah, that's the right call, Jack. No doubt about it. Right on the doorstep. Caputo comes flying in, realizes that he's kind of missed an assignment. Syracuse does a really good job. We talked about Christian Muley coming into this one and Muley's toughness. So I don't know what can describe tough more than this. He gets bodied up by two guys who are way bigger than him, still finds a way to get free, find some space.
Blue foul number 6, legal body check, 1 minute.
Throw a good pass in front and create a scoring opportunity as well.
So that gives way to the Syracuse man-up unit. This group, 43% on the season, 22nd in the nation. Not as good as last year's group that was around 50%. They were around the top 5, top 10 most of the year, but they've improved as of late. This is an offensive group that thrives on quick passing as that shot's wide. Here's Hiltz, over to Stevens, working it around. Over the middle, Thompson rips it and sticks it. Tied up at 1.
Thompson gets an excellent view here, makes a good pass inside, and then just spins and fires it into the back of the net. That's great awareness, Jack. And speaking of face-offs, Johnny Mullen is at the face-off X right now, so we're going to see that tandem in action that's been talked about so much this year for Syracuse Lacrosse.
For the first time today, John Mullen out there. Like you said, the freshman, 66% on the season. Mullen and Naso go down to the ground. They'll call it on Mullen. Duke ball.
You love to see the effort that Mullen puts in there, though. He loses that one back. Naso kind of pulls the ball back into his corner, and Mullen's immediately on the turf.
Here comes O'Neal, and there's Romark. An outlet pass to Rice. Here come Lacuse. Muley, one-on-one, deflected by Jamison. The rebound, the flag before the shot. They say he was in the crease. A one-on-one opportunity ended in a Jamison stop. They'll say he fell in the crease. The play was dead right there. He was in the goal mouth. So Stevens couldn't do anything with the rebound. The play was dead.
We have no goal. Blue foul number 29. Push, 30 seconds.
Muley shoved into the crease there, and maybe a little bit of nightmarish flashbacks for Syracuse. Earlier this season, Michael Leo pushed into the crease, which discounted a goal in overtime against Maryland, would have put the Orange at the time to an undefeated 3-0.
No flag on that one, to the Orange's dismay. This time they go man up. Finn Thompson scored the first goal of the day on a man up. Crossfield pass out of the crease. The shot by Spallina, no good. Jamison standing tall. A big man down stop.
Yeah, you know, Jack, I asked Gary Gade about Patrick Jamison and what it would be like for a first-time goaltender to play in the ACC, and he kind of laughed and said, oh, we just want to get shots in front and make him uncomfortable like any other goalie, but he certainly does not look intimidated by conference play.
Yeah, doesn't look uncomfortable at all. He's got 5 saves already against an offense that, shoots the ball so creatively of all different angles, and he's doing well so far. Only 1 goal for the Orange. Here's McAdory finding some space. Dishes across. Ben Johnston, the freshman, had the first goal for Duke. Has 11 on the season. Max Sloat, the redshirt freshman, broke his wrist against Syracuse last year and missed most of the season. Looking healthy on that shot wide left. Now Duke's already taken 8 shots, only hit 1 of them. There goes McAdory past Alexo. This Duke offense has a lot of firepower and slow so far.
It's been massive credit to Will Mark, Jack.
Mark already 5 saves as well. Ball knocked away in front. Rice tips it to Dwan. And we got some equipment on the carpet. Dwan flicks it the other way. The Orange in transition again. Looks like they'll slow it down.
If you weren't excited enough for this one coming in, I think you have to be now, because not only is this game physical, but there is so much skill on display, but there's also some great defensive lacrosse on display right now. You're seeing both these teams slide correctly, make the right moves, and putting a whole lot of pressure on the attackers.
You'd think this would be a shootout. Last year, 14-13 and 18-15, the 2 games. Oh, Leo, the spin around. Oh, slotting it low. You kidding me?
Jack, you just talked about all the creativity that these 2 offenses showcase. I don't know how much more creative you can get than that. Leo takes a look back towards his left side and spins around and rips it, as you mentioned, low to low, and uses that physicality to make sure that number 23 inside, Aiden McGuire's standing off of him a little bit. And then as soon as he gets that space, he takes a step back and just rips a shot into the back of the net. Leo's got a phenomenal shot, Jack.
He didn't waste a minute. Once he found that little bit of space, like you mentioned, let it fly for his 16th goal of the season.
Mullen back in the faceoff X as well.
Looks like coaching staff trying to figure out what matchup works. So far, Naso is 3 for 3. Can they corral this one? Sawada using his body. Will it be enough? Ball out of bounds. Stays with Duke. Blue Devils 4 for 4 so far, which makes almost no sense because on the season, Naso hasn't been good in the first quarter, only at 54%. And the other 3 quarters, he's 67%. That's just not the case today.
Maybe needs a little bit of a wake-up call. Maybe that's what he got. Said, you know, this new Syracuse tandem has been so effective. You can't afford to go down to them early because of how prolific this offense can be. I mean, you look at the score, despite the face-off battle so far.
Another violation on Duke. Syracuse wanted the quick restart. They wanted a flag after the ball getting rolled away. They won't get it. Ingles clears, ball on the ground. Rowe is there to spin free. Here comes Stevens. And a nice trail check by Frisoli. Doesn't matter. Sevens has it. 3-1 Cuse.
Stevens' playmaking ability is on full display here. It's a great move to go to the bounce pass and realize you've got a guy with his stick right in your face. The only way you're getting that ball over to a wide open Owen Hiltz is skipping it on the turf. And he does that to perfection. The ball does not slow down at all, right in his cradle and in the back of the net.
Just a fantastic pass from Stevens to make that decision in a split second. He was going to shoot the whole time until he decides, I think my other friend from Canada could slot this one too, as Owen Hiltz gets his 22nd goal of the season. 3-1 Orange on top towards the end of the first quarter. Mason Cone and Jake Naso going at it. Naso won the clamp. Cone held him. That's the second faceoff violation on Mason Cone. If you get 3.5, it's a 30-second penalty. O'Neal, the lefty howitzer. Whoa, that one was wide. Always a scary sight to see as a goalie, even if it's not on target.
Normally when guys shoot it, you can kind of see the ball moving through the air. That was just more of a white blur.
Pappendick draws the short stick, Vinny Trujillo. Duke will go with the invert and take him behind. Pappendick around the crease. Couldn't get the shot off, and Syracuse turns him over.
Great pressure from Carter Rice on that play. Now he's taking it up the field himself as well.
Rice has just been putting on a master class as of late. He is tied for the team lead and caused turnovers with 8. As a short stick D midi, not an easy thing to do.
Takes contact and doesn't miss a lot of games as well, Jack. He's barely missed any games at all through his first 3 seasons.
Only missed 1. That was this season against Hopkins. Hiltz crossfield pass to English. A quick dodge. Pass in front. Thompson can't get to go. Ground ball picked up by Boyer. Here comes Duke. There's O'Neal. Full head of steam, and he puts the brakes on. Blue Devils pull it out. This offense has just been stifled so far, Luca. Group that averages 18 goals a game, only 1 right now.
And the pressure has been on for the Syracuse defense. I mean, last year this was kind of a similar story, but the difference was SU's defense crumbled at times. That's not been the case so far today, and we've only got a minute left in this first quarter.
Zawada behind the cage. In front. Boyer still on the field. Can't corral the pass. Levine goes between his legs with the ground ball, and Mark scoops it up. What a crafty play.
Yeah, that was excellent awareness. To know where Will Mark is and know that there's no bodies back there. Take that extra look while you've got 2 guys closing down on you. Yeah, and gets it right to Will Mark, who's so good with the ball as well.
It's not just the offensive guys that get to have fun throwing BTBs. He can do it too, right?
That's what Gary Gates says. He wants his players to take ownership of their game and make decisions that make them feel comfortable and have some fun on the field.
Something we see a lot out of this group with the creative freedom that they play with. And it's because, like you said, Luke, Coach Gate wants his players to have control of how they play the game. Lower's pass knocked down. Just over 10 to go. The low shot stopped by Jamison. 5 seconds to go. Looks like McGuire will hold on to this one to end the quarter. Well, 2 of the best offenses in the country have only put up 4 total goals. It's a defensive battle here inside the Dome so far.
Yeah, Jack, it's been not a lot of space out there. You've got guys making saves left and right. Jamison is impressed. Mark is impressed. It's a good game. Must have been beyond what we're seeing here today because he's let 3 goals in. Outstanding work.
That's another face-off win for Jake Naso. He's 6 for 6 today. On the season, both John Mullen, Mason Cohn, over 60%. Brennan O'Neal is stymied by Will Mark. Speaking of good goalie play, he's got 6 saves now.
He takes that one right in the chest. No panic. That's what you get from experience.
It's definitely important to have a strong goalie in net when you don't win as many faceoffs. Something Syracuse struggled with all season last year. Hasn't really been a problem this year, but today, 0 for 6 at the X.
Yeah, I don't think it's what we expected. We expected Jake Naso, I think, to struggle a little bit off the jump.
Here's Sam English. Over the middle, the ripper. Right in Jamison's cross. Didn't have to move an inch.
Testament to his good positioning there. Right in the middle of the crease, and not a super crafty shot. How far is he going to take this?
Almost got hit by Levine there. Duke takes over on offense. The sideline for Duke not too happy. John Danowski, his assistants Ron Caputo, and his son Matt all barking at the refs.
I'd brush that off as incidental contact.
Here's McAdory. Camo switches on to him. Duke offense only 1 goal on 11 shots today. Typically, they shoot 39%, which is second in the country. A really efficient unit, but not today. Off for Dyson Williams' stick. And Vinny Trujillo's right there for the ground ball. An error you can't make when you're not getting any offense rolling.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on your possessions. It's actually an issue that Syracuse has seen a little bit over the past few games. You go back to that Hopkins game in the first half, they were struggling to convert despite possessing the ball for pretty much the entire first quarter. It's been a little bit of that for Duke tonight, struggling to finish even though they've had the ball the whole time.
Well, Duke's 6 for 6 on faceoffs, but they have 7 turnovers to Syracuse's 1. That's been the difference. That's why they're trailing by 2. Burgess rips from goal line extended. That one flies high and away. Syracuse not there for the backup. Henry Bard's there.
And I think it just goes back to how aggressive SU's playing on defense right now. Putting on a show.
McGuire's pass across deflected, but O'Neal's there and he puts up the stop sign. Quiet day for the reigning Tewaaraton winners so far. He's 48 points on the season. Tied with Josh Zawada, only trailing Joey Spallina, who has 57, but both him and Zawada 0 today. Denenza draws the coverage of Jake Spallina, Joey's younger brother. Now Ben Johnston, Duke's only goal scorer. McAdory, the former attackman from last year. Nothing out of him either today. O'Neal's pass across. McAdory frees up space, and he slots it off the post and in. You can't teach speed, and that's what Andrew McAdory has.
Well, McAdory plays a bit of midfield, but started as an attackman. The reason he's back there is because of the incoming Zawada, and he shows that attackman prowess right there. Rips one off the inside of the post and falling down, trying to dodge away from the Syracuse long pole, and it's a great shot in the back of the net. You finally see this Duke offense start to break through in this second quarter and look a little bit more comfortable.
So definitely a crafty pass from Brendan O'Neal, too, from the other side. Gave him a little no-look. Something O'Neal's been working on. He had his career high in assists last year with 42. This year, just notched his 20th with that goal from McAdory. 1 goal deficit for the Blue Devils. That looked like it was going to be SU's first face-off win, but Naso's got it, and he just got pushed in the back. Duke's going to have a free play here.
Maybe celebrating a little bit too early there. Seems like he thought he got away with it, and then Naso comes down on his stick, knocks the ball free, and forces a penalty.
Zawada behind the cage. He's got all kinds of creativity with this play. If Duke misses or turns it over, they'll get it right back because of the flag. That's Alex Slusher behind the cage, who's been kind of that 4th, 2nd midi. Whistle down on the field. Looks like Duke might have stepped in the crease and
pointed at the goal mouth.
And that'll give them the ball and a man up. Zawada didn't love the call.
Fouls on Syracuse 36. Push 30 seconds. Syracuse 36. Push 30.
So that's John Mullen's push off the faceoff from a little over 40 seconds ago.
Yeah, Mullen kind of just in desperation mode because he knows that he's got to get back and make up for that mistake he made a moment ago. And especially as a freshman, you're always trying to prove yourself. So you want to make sure that you're hustling to the extreme on every play. A little bit too extreme on that one, though, Jack.
Duke 37% on the man up. Last in the ACC. The Syracuse man down unit has been stellar, only allowing opponents to score on 1 of their last 9. How about 1 of their last 10, forcing a turnover?
It's just sticks in the lane, breaking up plays, and really good awareness of obviously film, but also where they expect these guys to go with the ball. And as soon as it goes there, you've got guys hounding on defense.
The man-down unit is hot right now, but it wasn't always that way. To start the season, Syracuse allowed 7 of 19 man-up opportunities. And since then, 1 of 10. They're all fresh legs out there. The 5 men, Jordan Beck, Tommy Drago, Nick Fratarigo, Jake Titus, and Dylan Seguider, only allowed 1 goal in the last 10 opportunities.
How about that little hidden ball trick a moment ago between Sam English and Luke Roa? Actually fooled one of the Duke long poles, had him tracking all the way to the goal. Fortunately for the Orange, can't create anything out of it.
That's something they've been successful at this season. Got a goal against Utah with the hidden ball trick.
They tried it once against Hopkins as well. It did not work out very well then. So it's a hit or miss type thing, but it worked there.
Duke known for its offense this season and in the last few years. 18 goals a game, only 2 today. McAdory up top. There's Denenza. Ryan Hoddle playing tough as a short stick D midi. The true freshman playing good defense right there.
That was excellent. And you have to look at the size matchup as well. Denenza is 6'3". Hoddle stands under 6 foot. So
only about 5'6",
for
5'5".
him to stay with him on that matchup is just really impressive stuff. You got a guy whose legs are probably about a third longer than yours are, and you stay with him the entire way, put pressure on him with the stick, and SU has possession of the ball on offense again. That's been the story so far, Jack, through about a quarter and a half here is SU's hounding defense. It's just relentless.
There's Leo with the short stick McGuire. Has 1 goal today. It was on that nice spin in the first quarter. The short stick D midi group for Duke, one of the best in the country. Here's English. Gets the shorty Jack Gray to switch on to him, the junior. His pass across, picked off. Tyler Carpenter with the turnover. He gives it up to the Duke attackman, Brennan O'Neill. Matt Wright not giving him an inch of space. Former UNC Tar Heel, played Duke 4 times at Carolina. Now doing so in a different colored jersey. There's Balsamo. He scored the game-winning goal last year in overtime to get the 14-13 win. He was wearing number 0 last year. This year he's in 1. Pierre Ledman wore 1 last year. It's not as fun, though. You can call him Agent 0. He's got all his nickname opportunities.
0 is a flashy number. I think that no matter what happens here today, fans are going to remember that name for a long time in the JMA Wireless Stadium.
Balsamo played well in that game and in the second game, too. Scored a goal late to seal the 18-15 victory at Koskinen. Eight to go on the shot clock. The turnaround shot stuffed by Mark.
Will Mark just continues to look so comfortable in net, and I don't think that that's something fans are surprised by, but it's taken to another level tonight.
7 saves for him, and how about the save on the sideline right there with the nice behind the back pass. And Sammy English with quite the play to keep Syracuse on offense right here. Second midi group, Luke Roa, Jackson Burtwhistle, Jake Stevens. Syracuse attack has been quiet. Only goals from Owen Hiltz. Here's Roa, the righty whipper. Oh, he buries it. Luke Roa, welcome to the party. It's 4-2 Syracuse.
All this creativity that we've talked about, Jack, and it just is a straightaway shot that gets into the back of the net, keeping things simple. That's what gets the job done at the end. Syracuse reestablishes that lead.
Orange on top by 2. Losing in the face-off category 7 out of 7. Mullen tried to kick it away, but Bard was right there. Make it 8 for 8, the Blue Devils leading. And Jake Naso is no stranger to dominating Syracuse at the X. Last year, he was 66% against the Orange. When you have wings as good as this Duke team does, too, you know, you got great poles and short sticks helping them out. Bouncing shot deflects off a mark. Sloat couldn't find the angle. Duke not taking advantage of those offensive opportunities. Only 2 of 15 shooting so far.
Mark does a good job there after the shot as well. Kind of slowing his pace down, looking around for that ball, locating it quickly and getting on top of it. Putting the Orange back on offense and not giving the Blue Devils a second chance. That is understated how big that is.
Here's Leo. There's Hiltz. Finding some space. The lefty shot, a kick deflection. Ball sailed high in the air. He was in the crease. It's their Duke ball.
Easy.
And you talk about how well Will Mark's doing. Jamison has 8 saves so far.
Yeah, he looks settled in, ready to go. He shows all the same skills that you see out of an experienced guy like Will Mark, and it makes you think, well, the rest of the ACC's got to be scared of what he could develop into in the next few years.
Jameson having a good day, and so is Will Mark, like you mentioned, with 8 saves. And he kept Syracuse in the home game against Duke last year, 22 saves. Turning out to be a relatively similar game where Duke's dominating at the face-off X, not shooting the ball well. Here's McAdory. Draws the long pole, gets the pick. Denenza, righty shot. Will Mark saw it from a mile away. 9 saves for the 5th year. No one can crack the code.
You have to wonder what adjustments head coach Gary Gait is going to make at halftime as far as the faceoffs go as well. I mean, you're running down to 3 minutes here in half and still no faceoff wins. That's really not a problem that the Orange have had to deal with all season.
Whistle and a turnover. Duke takes over. Quick restart. Here come the Blue Devils. Lennon O'Neill with the ball, pulls it out. One-on-one with Nick Kakemo. Used to play club ball with Nick Kakemo back in high school on Long Island. A whole bunch of these guys from that Long Island recruiting hotbed played club ball together, including O'Neill, Kakemo, and Joey Spallina, and several others. Here's O'Neill. Righty shot over the top. Now, look, one thing Coach John Danowski mentioned before this game was how much he wanted O'Neill to work on that right hand. I guess we'll have to wait to chat about that one. We're headed to a timeout. Duke wants to chat it over. 4-2, Syracuse on top. We'll keep it right here.
That's something that frees you up to take those quick shots as well, though, because you know if it goes back to the face-off X, you have the ability to win the right ball right back.
Balsamo behind the cage. Can't beat his man. He's got Carter Rice on it. Tries to spin free, no space. Here comes O'Neill. Matt Wright keeping him in check. Zalal frees up the left. Will Mark's there with the right. Can't get anything by this man.
Can't win if you can't score, Jack. You know, you can lose all the faceoffs you want, but Lacrosse is an offensive game, maybe not today.
6 straight games with double-digit saves for Will Mark. Syracuse takes over on offense and heads to a timeout. They want to talk it over too, Luke, because their offensive unit hasn't been great either. Only 4 of 17 shooting. We're not seeing that same click like we usually do.
Yeah, and he's brought that talent all the way to the pinnacle of college lacrosse in the ACC.
Back underway on offense for Syracuse. The Orange looking to get some separation heading into halftime. Muley to Thompson on the goal. He's stopped by Jamison. Oh, man, the freshman standing on his head. Here's Duke in transition. The Blue Devils moving quick. They'll slow it down. Here's O'Neal. Maybe he has space on Dwan. The lefty. That one bounced in front wide right. O'Neal quiet so far. 0 for 5 shooting. Now, look, we talked about it before the game today. One of the secrets to beating Duke, it's not so much a secret. If you can keep Brendan O'Neal quiet, which is almost impossible, but if you can, you've got a real shot. You know, in Duke's last 3 losses, he only has 4 total points.
Yeah, you shut down the best player, kind of chop off the head of the snake, so to speak, and that's what leads you to success. Right now, Syracuse doing a great job of that. He's got a point in this game, but the rest of the offense has not been able to produce at the level that it's used to.
25 on the shot clock. There's McAdory, no space. Duke's last loss against Penn only had 1 point. 2 previous before that, Jacksonville and Notre Dame in the national championship last season. It was only 1-1 in the championship game. It was a big reason why Duke couldn't get it done.
You heard the crowd kind of erupt there because McAdory extended an arm on his defender. Syracuse eventually gets the ball back, and the crowd is getting into it in the final 7 seconds here.
What a defensive stand for the Orange. 2 seconds to go. Pass knocked down in front. Doesn't lead to anything. A great defense to end the half. Only 2 goals allowed by the Syracuse defense.
But, yeah, Page has got a heck of a head of hair. I think he fits the bill perfectly.
Got that stash, too. All he needs is to hop behind the wheel. That's a face-off violation on Duke. Naso's first of the half, and Syracuse's first face-off win of the game.
It's been a long time coming.
The Orange only 4 goals so far. They average 16 a game on the season. Luke, what do you think they need to do differently?
I think that you just got to get, I don't want to say get the guys going and pump them up, but it really just comes down to that. This game has been physical, and I don't think that from either side there's a lack of investment in this game offensively or defensively. It's just been great goaltending. I think that's just what it comes back to. There's not much else you can draw up other than that.
Well, tight defense from Jack Gray on Christian Muley. Forced the Lehigh transfer into the crease. And Syracuse gives it up. Duke back on the field on offense for the first time this half. Trying to get something going. There's Brennan O'Neal, scoreless today, has 29 goals on the season. Max Sloat, the big lefty. And Ben Johnston, number 4 freshman in the country. Zawada, the Michigan transfer. Wolverines' all-time leading scorer with over 200 points. Here's O'Neal. Pass picked off by Mark. And the Orange come away with it. That's something Will Mark does well, get in the passing lanes.
That 10-minute break did not affect the level of locked in that Will Mark is right now. He's got his eyes up, makes a great play to start the half.
Mark's been fantastic today. 10 saves. So's Patrick Jamison with 9. Can he stop what's coming here? No, he can't. Owen Hiltz slots in the back of the net.
Will Mark does a great job of creating this play for Syracuse. Plays aggressive, plays big, and then Owen Hiltz sets up in his office. You talk about Joey Spallina having an office at X. Owen Hiltz should build his own one. About 15 yards away from cage to the left of the goaltender Jamison, because he is living there right now. He's got 2 goals from that exact same spot. Both great shots.
That low to high, oh boy, good luck stopping that. And another great feed from Jake Stevens. He's given 2 to Owen Hiltz today. Orange on top by 3, and they've won 2 straight faceoffs. Here comes Mason Cone. All the way to the cage. Right down Broadway he goes. Mason Cone has done it again. His 5th goal of the season.
Well, you know, Jack, if you do that when you win the faceoffs, then you don't need to win too many of them. Mason Cone has made this almost a trademark at this point. And a great shot to get by Jamison, who's just been so locked in all day. Goes to the far side. That's a tough angle. You got basically in your eye line the goalie's entire body in front of the net. Doesn't look like there's any space there whatsoever, but you know, he's an experienced player. He knows what he needs to do, and oh, what a boost for the sideline.
His offensive ability in the field is just so impressive. 5 goals and 6 assists this year. And he hasn't been playing lacrosse for as long as you may have think he has, as Syracuse gets another face-off on a Duke foul right there. Gives the Orange the ball. Now, he played in high school at the same time as playing hockey, but he took the first 2 years off at Tufts because hockey was his love. Didn't play his freshman year, didn't play his sophomore year. And then, as his head coach, Casey D'Onofrio, said, 3 years off of Lax, and he came back as the best player in Division III.
Well, you know, I can relate to him a little bit.
Okay,
for hockey.
You're that good, too?
Oh, I wish I was that good.
Roll with the left hand. Jamison's there.
But he's got that center mentality to bring it back to a level of hockey, right? And
I knew I was speaking your language.
yeah, you can drop the pass back. You can take it all the way yourself, but the center is the main source of offense. And Mason Cone embodies that in lacrosse. You know, he says, if I get the puck or the ball, I can make the play myself. He does a great job of that right now.
And think about the fact that he's never gotten to play a fall ball season.
Yeah,
he was playing hockey the whole time, and yet one of the best face-off men in the country already in his first season in orange and blue. Well, here's the struggling Duke offense. 2 goals off of 19 shots so far today. Can they turn it around this half? Here's O'Neal, covered by the big Billy Dwan. 6'4" against 6'5". O'Neal gives it off to Josh Zawada. The man that Danowski said can feed and pass just as well as he can score. There's the pass in front to Denenzo. On the ground, O'Neal's got it. He gives off to Jack Papendick with no space. Only 7 on the shot clock. Looking for a pass. Balsamo over the middle. Lefty shots high and away, and that's a shot clock violation. Didn't touch the cage or the goalie. Shot clock went all the way down to 0, and the Orange crowd loves it.
Jack, those last 10 minutes, I was watching John O'Dearna on the sidelines because he was so fired up, yelling and screaming at his players, and then as soon as the shot clock goes to 0, he's screaming as loud as he can and pointing both his fingers up towards the shot clock to his left. That is a guy that loves defense. So much passion. So much passion that John O'Dearna brings to the table. Has a lot of fun with his team. They love playing for him. His defense is only allowed a pair through about 35 minutes of lacrosse. Thompson hits the deck, no flag. There's Leo behind the cage. He's got Jake Caputo, the 5th year, covering him. Here's Muley. Looking for an angle, nothing there against Jack Gray. 15 on the shot clock. Sam English, pass across to Hiltz, off the pipe. Muley tried to fight for it, couldn't get it. It's Henry Bard in transition. Zawada pulls it out, passes across. Carpenter on the field. O'Neal brings it off the pipe, too. This Duke team hit the post a dozen times last year, and I think the ghosts are still haunting them. I mean, Jack, what did you say when we came on the air tonight? This is a heavyweight bout. They're trading blows right now.
That's the bell ringing right there.
Yeah, there you go. That's the crossbar on one side and then another crossbar just a few seconds later. What a sequence.
Here's O'Neal. He's got space. The stick down on the ground. That belongs to Trujillo. Dyson Williams' shot can't fall all the way through. Stopped at the goal line by Will Mark. This Syracuse defense playing so tough today against one of the best groups in the entire country. They've been really physical, and it hasn't gotten them in trouble at all.
Yeah, and I don't think that physicality is really the first thing you think of when you think of this SU defense. I think you think a lot more about speed, and you think about prowess on the ball. But, you know, tonight, I mean, you'd be remiss not to mention, though, whatever in his bag is, that's what Will Mark is right now.
Here's Spallina. His pass to Burgess. He slots it home. The Orange are pulling away. 7-2. Cuse on top.
Well, we talked about what's going to happen if you start to win some faceoffs in the second half. That's exactly what we're seeing now because the adjustments were made. You know, Coach Gate did not seem too worried about it when we talked to him before halftime.
I mean, it's wild, Luke. This is a team that averages 18 goals a game. How about another faceoff win for the Cuse? 4 straight after going 0 for 8 in the first half. But you're right, Luke. 18 goals a game. They are a prolific scoring team. They've been in double digits every game this season, but they've been as silent as a mouse today.
Yeah, maybe something that we haven't talked about as much on the Syracuse offensive side as well. I mean, Owen Hiltz is maybe looking like the most poised offensive player in this game right now. Coming into tonight, he had just 1 point in each of the top 5 matchups that Syracuse had this season. He's looking to change the tune tonight.
There's Spallina. Just notched his first point on an assist to Owen Hiltz. It's the matchup of Kenny Brown. His pass across isn't there. Leo's there to pick it up. Leo now with the short stick behind him. He'll go behind the cage. Here comes the lefty. Pass in front to Thompson, just wide. Syracuse will keep it with 10 on the shot clock. Here's English. Full head of steam. Pass on the crease. Muley spin around, can't get it. Whether they had the backup or a shot clock reset or not doesn't matter. Duke was there, closest to it as the ball went out of bounds behind the cage.
If you're on that Duke sideline now, you kind of go into damage control. You got to figure out how can we stop the bleeding because clearly the offense has some things to figure out. And until that time, you got to hope that Patrick Jamison can just keep standing on his head because this Syracuse offense, there's really no way for them to stop generating offense. If you're coming from the Blue Devil perspective, you got to make sure that when you have the ball, you're making it count right now because you don't know how many more chances you're going to get.
20 scoreless minutes for the Blue Devils. Ben Johnston had a goal in the first quarter, Andrew McAdory in the second quarter, and that's it. Here's Denenza. No space. Balsamo can't go anywhere either. This Duke attack group averages 14 points a game. They've got 0 goals so far. Here's O'Neal, less than 15 on the shot clock. Fakes a pass. Sends it over the middle. Denenza gets the hitch, shoots wide right. Only 4 on the shot clock. This defense is standing so tall.
I mean, look at the way that Caden Cole and Sammy English switch on that play. There's a quick screen thrown towards Cole, and immediately English recognizes it without even turning his head, spins, kind of throws the brakes on a little bit, turns around, and he's hounding his other guy. And it's because they're executing on double teams and just playing fast. But I gotta wonder how these guys aren't more tired right now. They're playing an exhausting brand of defense, but you know, it's worked out. And then you got that brick wall back second net, which has just solidified everything that you've been trying to do defensively.
Yeah, you know it helps that you know that almost every shot on goal is going to get stuffed by one of the best goalies in the nation, in Will Mark. Fight for the ground ball. Carpenter couldn't get it. Frazzoli tried his chance. It's a hold on Syracuse and staying with Duke. Here's O'Neal, scoreless today. The nation's reigning towards-on winner, one of the best in the country, 0 goals and 1 assist. That's been the theme when Duke loses. Here's Max Sloat, the lefty. Spinning free, can't nail the shot.
Sounded like that might have been deflected on the way in. It's one of those where you get that crack sound in the middle.
The double team by Syracuse. And O'Neal stays with it. A big body like him, tough to jar anything free. Sloat covered by the true freshman, Wyatt Hoddle. They switch Figueres onto him. The defense just so smart right now. Down goes Johnston. Levine throws the check. Alexo comes away with the ground ball. This Orange defense firing on all cylinders. Over 20 scoreless minutes from Duke.
And the guys are just feeding off of each other right now. There's so much energy, and I think that's what's giving that extra boost that we talked about a minute ago. How are they not tired? Well, it's because everyone's playing for each other. You're so hyped up, you kind of get into the mentality of, wow, we're shutting down a prolific offense, and it just makes it that much easier as the game goes on.
The Duke offense just looks dejected when it's out there, and there's a flag down on the field right now. Didn't see what it was from. The Orange have a free possession. Thompson fights free. Ball out of bounds. We'll find out what the Orange can do on a man up.
Listening for the call here.
19's going to serve that. Blue foul 19, offsides. 30 seconds. 60.
The Blue Devils had too many men. Ben Johnston will serve the penalty. Syracuse goes back to its man up, where it's 1-for-1 today. Finn Thompson scoring the lone goal.
That guy you saw a moment ago on the sidelines, John Danowski, he's got to be searching for answers right now. Trying to figure out what he can do to get his offense going.
Here's an offense that can click with good ball movement. Burgess stings the top left. Oh, don't blink. You might miss it with this man up. They are rolling. Cuse on top by 6.
It's really just an outclassing of this Duke defense by the Syracuse offense. Jack, right before that goal was scored, you mentioned the SU ball movement. Yeah, that's all it is. It's great ball movement inside. You draw the defenders out of place. You give it to a guy with a heck of a shot, and he just does what he does. Just does his job. Right now, that's all that Syracuse needs to do is its job, and that's been enough.
Burgess led the country with 11 extra man goals last season. His man-up unit last year was around 50% on the season. This year, over 40%. And now he's got 2 man-up goals this year. Violation on the Orange. Duke takes the ball back in an area where they're not having too much fun. That's on offense.
That's putting it lightly.
Here's O'Neal finding some space with the left, and he bounces it wide right.
I mean, this Duke offense, Jack, you said it. They just can't get anything to go their way right now. You look at Brendan O'Neal, who has one of the most lethal shots in the country. He just missed the net by a solid 3 or 4 feet.
O'Neal's 0 for 7 shooting, completely out of a rhythm. And Billy job covering him today. Denenza to O'Neal. Shot over the top. He just doesn't look right now, Luke.
I think another thing that comes with it is that you feel this pressure from an offensive perspective to be so detailed with your shots and so accurate because of how well Mark's playing.
Jack Papendick is behind to Denenza. Skip pass. Zawada frees up the left hand and buries it. Duke on the board for the first time in the second half. It's 8-3.
It's a momentum boost that the Blue Devils certainly needed. Zawada on the score, not a surprising face whatsoever. It's a pretty simple play, and I mean, this Syracuse defense has been beat up. It's been a physical game all the way throughout, and you kind of almost just expect that at some point, an offense as talented as this would break through. But I don't think there's any panic at all on the Syracuse sideline.
Must feel like a weight off the shoulders of some of these Duke players right now. They haven't seen a shot go in since early in the second quarter by Andrew McAdory, but Josh Zawada, the fifth-year leader of this team, first year with Duke, has made a big impact this season. One goal today. Nice ground ball by Samoexo. Loses it, but pushes it over to the orange, and Will Mark just reached out of the sky for that one.
Yeah, great speed off the face-off, though, from Alexo. He's so good at doing stuff like that where he can recognize a loose ball, notice if his man's going to get to it or not, and make the quick play. And, Jack, right now the crowd is really into this game. I think that's energizing Syracuse just as much as the sideline is.
A great group on hand today. If you watched halftime, you saw that Charlotte North said Syracuse men's lacrosse has the best fan base in the nation. They've certainly showed out tonight.
And these are the days that get this fan base, that type of reputation. The Dome is packed on a Wednesday.
Something that Gary Gates trying to bring back. He wants massive crowds in here. Here's Muley. Oh, baby. You're going to get magic plays like that. This offense is humming right now.
How about a little alley-oop action? I mean, this is just disrespectful. We talked about the connection with Joey Spallina and Christian Muley, and that's why I go back to what I said after that Duke goal. No panic on the SU sideline. They just get right back to work, keep making plays. Joey Spallina hasn't been a huge factor in this game. He makes a great pass there, uses that lacrosse IQ that he's known for.
Pair of assists for Spallina this evening. That one going to Christian Muley. And it's, tough for him on a one-on-one matchup with Kenny Brower, the three-time captain and first-team All-American for Duke. As John Mullen wins the face-off for Syracuse, the Orange 5 of 6 at the face-off X this half. Like I was saying about Spallina, Luke, matchup with Kenny Brower isn't easy, but he's working around that to get his teammates involved.
Yeah, and lacrosse, just like any other sport, it's too simple to just look at the box score and take away something. The effect that Spallina has on the field against other teams, it's a constant preoccupation for their best long pole. So the fact that Spallina can still create like that when he's got an incredibly difficult matchup the entire game just shows the versatility that he has. And I think it's a great sign for Syracuse fans to know that even if he's not creating on the score sheet, he's creating everywhere else.
Spallina behind the cage. 10 seconds to go. Flag on the field. Burt Whistle's shot knocked away by Jamison. 3 seconds on the clock, but the Orange are about to go man up.
Now it's on Route 33, interference, 30 seconds. Route 33, interference, 30.
So that one's on Tyler Carpenter. Fifth-year LSM.
Now you see Spallina behind cage. Everyone knows the threat that he poses. You got to guard guys out in front just a little bit tighter. And it was a little bit too tight that time.
Pushing the back on Owen Hiltz by Carpenter. Makes it a 6-on-5. The Orange with a man advantage, and they'll start the fourth quarter with it. Up by 6 goals. This Syracuse offense has looked phenomenal in the third quarter, outscoring Duke 5-1. Devils offense, a group that hasn't played this poorly since the national championship game, where they lost 13-9 to Notre Dame. And O'Neal only had 1 goal and 1 assist. Well, Syracuse is man up after Tyler Carpenter's penalty in the third quarter. Still about 10 on it. Hiltz rips it off the pipe, stays with the Cuse.
I think I might have heard a double doink there. I don't know if that got both points.
I think it did. I think you're right. Well, the refs are calling for the shot clock reset. If you hit the post or the goalie, it should reset to 60. But if it hits the post twice, it doesn't go to 120. I can promise you that.
It'd be kind of cool if it did. Be great. You'd have guys trying to bring it off.
Okay, you're right. You're right. That'd be pretty impressive. Back to even strength. Jack Gray fills in the spot. The Syracuse offense outscored Duke 5-1 in the third quarter. They took advantage of all their opportunities. Here's Stevens down the left alley. Off the Burt whistle. He's got 2 goals today. Hiltz fires it off the goalie. Jamison fighting for it off the crease. It gets knocked behind the goal, and it's Duke's ball.
But look at the determination from Finn Thompson on that play. As soon as he notices that ball's loose, he is in there so quickly.
The team that leads the nation in offense. Only 3 goals today. It looks like Duke was offsides. They're going to have to give it up. So many mistakes for the Blue Devils. That's their 15th turnover of the day.
And you know that's the type of stuff right now that Coach Danowski is just saying that is unacceptable. In a game like this, you cannot have those silly mental mistakes, because not only are you chasing a 6-goal deficit, but you're chasing a team right now that is clicking on offense, and that deficit will continue to grow if you can't avoid miscommunications like that.
The Orange offense communicating well. Right in front, Owen Hiltz. You can't stop him today. Owen Hiltz is dominating. He's got a hat trick.
And Hiltz has just had a really great game. There's no other way to put it. He sees the open space, and it's a credit to Thompson again for drawing out that long pole and giving that space to Hiltz, but you also have to just clap it up for him occupying that space. And then, I mean, it's just a great all-around play to see that he's got a little bit of room in front, and then he uses that shot as he's done all afternoon. A little bit closer to Cage on that one.
Hiltz is on an all-time hot streak right now. He's got a hat trick today. Last time out had 6 goals. And overall, he has 15 points in his last 3 games.
I don't know if you can ask for much more than that.
But don't say that too loud. Then Joey Spallino will put up 16 points. You never know. Naso comes away with the face-off win to put the Duke offense back out on the field. Group that's been largely quiet. Only goals today from Ben Johnston, Josh Zawada, and Andrew McAdory. Well, here's Johnston, matched up with a short stick, Nate Levine. No space to go. Can't get the pass to Sloat, and here comes Carter Rice. An easy clear for the Cuse. SU back on offense, and that's just putting that much more pressure on the Duke defense, a group that is not doing too well lately either.
At some point, you got to start worrying about the only undefeated opponent in lacrosse, the clock.
Carpenter almost took that shot. Zawada, feed is deflected. He pulls it back out. Now, whether it's been any broken play, a long possession, Duke hasn't found a rhythm in any way.
it's just been too good. Every time there's a loose ball, I really think that the ground balls have been a turning point in this game. You look in that last quarter, 10-2 in favor of the Orange. They're on everything. Eyes are up. They're playing for each other. And it's just worked out. Just execution of a game plan is really what this game has come down to.
Duke's trying to figure out its offensive game plan right now. Shooting 3 of 27, only 11%. The feed in front of Balsamo. I think he forgot Will Mark was right there.
Those are chances that when an offense is in rhythm, you're finishing. Right now, you can tell that there's just such a panic with this squad to put one in the back of the net that it can be tough to put any in.
Tenenza behind the cage, now in front. His bouncer's wide. Duke's there for the backup, no reset. Mark's been impressive today, 12 saves and 3 goals allowed. He's the reigning ACC Defensive Player of the Week. Zawada covered by Figueres. And now O'Neal. The righty shot bounces in. Duke with its first goal of the quarter out of the right hand of Brendan O'Neal.
You're not going to deny O'Neal forever. That's just the way that it kind of works. When you have one of the best players in the country, he does a good job of using that left hand that we talked about a little bit earlier, goes to the one-handed move, and then just uses that explosive speed that he's patented for. If you were watching your first ever college lacrosse game tonight, you wouldn't know it, but most of the time that's pretty customary for O'Neal. 30 goals this year.
He is inevitable, but he's been slow today.
Coach Gate not too happy about something on the sidelines. He was on the field during probably about 30 seconds before that goal went into the back of the net, trying to yell something to the officials, but neither of the officials turned around. Both had their back facing him, and play just kind of continued. So maybe a little bit upset that he wasn't being heard.
Mullen and Naso for the face-off. Duke comes away with it. 2 trail checks. Not enough to get the ball away from one of the nation's finest at the face-off X. Duke now 11 of 17 on face-offs. Jake Naso's taken every single one of them. Down by 6, O'Neal scoring the last goal. Duke's going to need a whole lot more from their Tewaaraton winner if they want to get back in this one. Johnston draws Kakemo, he knocks it free. McAdory tries to get past Dwan. That's a tall task. Zawada has 1 goal today and no assists. McAdory spins. Another long, drawn-out Duke possession. Hasn't gone in their favor today. Right-handed shot is wide. And Syracuse is there for the backup. Good hustle by Wyatt Hoddle.
Wyatt Hoddle's really impressed me. In a game like this, I know we talked a little bit earlier about the goaltender Jamison having the poise in his first ACC game. He certainly has. Well, Hoddle has as well. Doesn't look phased at all by going to this level of competition. And, of course, that's a big credit to the non-conference schedule that Syracuse gives itself every year.
The crowd loves it. Another defensive stop with the Cuse. You're right, Luke Hoddle has been incredible. He's a guy that was playing offense up until about a month ago as a second-line midfielder. Played offense all fall, most of the spring. Here's Stevens. A nice check by Bard. And Duke steals one right back.
Some outstanding speed by Stevens there to get around the edge. That was just... He saw a lane and has that ability to turn the Jets on. That is not a common thing.
Good ball moving by Duke. Wide open in front. Stopped by Mark. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What a day for Will Mark. 13 saves.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Jack, that when he came into this game tonight, he said that there was no way he was getting a repeat of what happened last season. And in the start of ACC play, he has just looked as poised as I think we've ever seen him in a Syracuse uniform.
He's got quite a competitive edge. I mean, he's a guy that says that people still don't believe in him. He's trying to prove himself every day. If that save doesn't do it, I don't know what does.
Yeah, and for a big, tall guy, too, he gets down to his knees so quickly to make that save. Does a really nice job of getting his stick down there as well to protect between the legs.
Oh, Muley tried to go behind the back. Spolina waves him back in front of the net. He's got Brower hung up. Jamison comes out of the goal. Spolina fires off the post. That's an unlucky goal right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there for him, and you're up 6 in the fourth quarter against Duke, probably feeling the best offensively that you have all season. You try to throw a little bit of the flash in there. That's a pattern of this offense.
That cage is getting beaten up, though. Everything off the post.
Oh, the posts are back-to-back years. The posts are in fear of this Syracuse-Duke matchup.
6-goal lead for the Cuse. Duke scored 1 goal in every quarter. The Orange have 6 in this second half. Here's Spolina without a goal today. Does have 2 assists. Pulls Caputo away from the cage for a one-on-one. His pass in front. Leo finds it. Wilson kicks it to himself. Carpenter's got the ground ball. Pole-to-pole pass. Wilson caught in traffic. Here's Bill Dwan. The Orange take it right back. And then they give it back. A rough turnover for the Cuse.
Swing play there. Going from end to end. Michael Leo just couldn't keep his eyes up, kind of shifting his momentum, changing the direction of his feet.
McAdory's got 1 goal today, 16 on the season. Usually can use his speed, and ref didn't like that check. Sounded like some stick-to-helmet contact.
Duke gets a chance to kind of free up its offense a bit here now.
Here's O'Neal freeing up the left, and that one bounces wide. Blue Devils are headed for a man up.
And it's been really good controlled aggression today from the Orange, particularly on defense. It makes a difference on offense as well.
11, you're going to serve at 11. What's the foul? Slash. This is an ACC red foul number 11, slash. 1 minute, 60.
Well, Coach Arduna, ACC lacrosse or not, they call a slash. Blue Devils have a man up. That one on Riley Figueres, the redshirt freshman.
It's always interesting to get that extra level of insight, and Arduna was not aware of the call before Figueres sits down on the sideline.
Duke with 5 minutes to go, searching for anything. O'Neal, the fake, the shot's way over the top. He is 1 for 11 shooting.
Yeah, Jack, he just hasn't looked like himself. I mean, it's really that simple. He has not been accurate, even when there's not pressure.
Duke 0 for 2 on extra man today. O'Neal's pass nowhere near Aiden Denenza. Can he save it? He keeps it in bounds. Great hustle by Jake Titus, but he couldn't get it. 10 on the man up. Balsamo rips it with the left hand. Didn't touch anything. Only 1 on the shot clock. Yet another wasted Duke possession. Zawada didn't even know it. You're supposed to dump that one off as far as you can. That's a big mistake.
I think it just comes back to the desperation, and you know, when you kind of get punched in the mouth, that game plan, it goes up in flames a little bit. You go back to your fundamentals, and right now, the fundamentals, simply, Jack, they just aren't strong enough to beat Syracuse. The game plan is too good. I think that there have been a lot of wins this season where Coach Gate has looked back and said, oh, we could have done this, or this better. I think this is a game where if the Orange can hang on, you're going to be really pleased with the way that the squad executes on what you set out to do.
They've executed almost everything perfectly so far. Only 4 goals allowed. The man down unit has been very successful, not allowing a goal. 0 for 2. Duke is on the man up. And now Syracuse can really walk this one out for a while. Only 3 minutes. Down by 6 goals.
And that's a whole nother part as well of playing this good defense you have all day. You have to know how to close the game.
Stevens rips a right-handed shot over the top. Jamison found it. His 14th save. But it's not enough. He only allowed 10 goals, but Syracuse's offense hit its stride at the right time today. Duke with about 2.5 minutes to go, down by a half dozen goals. We'll need a lot more than a miracle in this one.
Tyler Carpenter just came over to the sideline, and he just looks dejected.
Most of this Duke squad not too happy with what's going on today. A poor performance from the Blue Devils. On track for only their 2nd loss of the season. They're 8-1 so far, and what a great start to ACC play this would be for Syracuse, Luke. I mean, last year, 1-5 in conference, and the crowd knows it.
I mean, it's so big, Jack. We talked about how important it is for Syracuse to start off on the right foot and get the momentum swinging in your direction. And the Orange really have a chance to close this one out. Dying Embers doing a good job of playing keep away from the Blue Devils.
The Orange on track to win 4 straight. Start ACC play with a win over number 4 Duke. It's been a really strong start to this season. The Orange on track to being 8-2, their best start under Gary Gate. This game and win in general will put them in a phenomenal position come both ACC tournament and NCAA tournament time.
Yeah, and the road ahead as well for the Orange. You look at Hobart next. You want to talk about a physical lacrosse game. That one will certainly be physical. The battle for the Krause-Simmons Trophy renewed in Geneva.
For the first time in a long time, that one being on the road.
Yeah, maybe some fish on the field.
An old Hobart tradition, throwing fish from the lake onto the field and at the bus. Maybe they'll restrain themselves this year.
They're going to have a difficult time beating this SU squad right now, Jack. This is a team that is really rolling.
The defense today, phenomenal. Only 4 goals allowed to the best offense in the country in number 4 Duke, and it's because of that man, Will Mark, all night. He's been phenomenal. 14 saves for the 5th year. The Orange clear it one final time as the clock drains out. A big crowd on hand to watch Syracuse put on a clinic against number 4 Duke. The Orange with an upset victory inside the dome to kick off ACC play. 14 big saves for the 5th year goalie, leading to a 10-4 win for the Cuse. The Orange moved to 8-2 with a top 5 win. That's all we've got here on ACC Network. We got some thank yous to give out. Our director, David Tasca, our producer, Kristen Hennessy, my partner, Luke Burgess, to Tom, to Todd, to Madison, everybody, I'm Jack Gordon, signing off for the final time.